Oaspi, Book of Lika, son of Jehovih, Chapter 7. 1. Onward sped Lika in his Aravagna with his 800 millions through the sea of Anea Wasa, the Etherian realm of Haug-Sauben, shining like a meteor in its flight, the ship of fire of 800 millions. On every side, the Jehovian worshippers' vessels, tens of thousands coursing as many ways, some fast on missions of quickened labor, some slow as traveling school ships, exploring the great expanse and glorious riches of Jehovah's provided worlds. Always ready for the newborn, each and all the ships as studded gems in the Etherian sea, moving brilliance, playing kaleidoscopic views, ever changing the boundless scene with surpassing wonders, and all of these by signs and signals, the story of their place and mission, revealing to the high-raised Etherian souls, ships and men as quickened living books of fire, radiant with the Father's light and history of worlds. 2. On Lika's ship, as on all the others, every soul, hundreds of millions enraptured, stood in awe and admiration of the ever-changing scenes, some in silence, absorbed in thought, some posing with upraised hands, some ejaculating gleefully, and some in high reverence to Jehovah, uttering everlasting praise. Every soul its full bent, being the full ripe fruit and the diversified talents as they first shone forth in corporeal life. 3. Onward sped Lika's Aravagna, now in the roads of Nopita, now in the Aegean forest of Kuion, most rich in adamantine substances, arches, stalactites, and stalagmites, and in forming and dissolving scenes, a forest, a very background in the Etherian worlds for the over-brilliant crystal regions of light. And here, too, the tens of thousands of ships of Jehovah's chosen, and on either side the great roadway lay the fields of Anutiv, inhabited by countless of millions of Etherian kingdoms. Along the road, for hundreds of thousands of miles, stretched up the hands of millions and millions of souls, waving banners and flags to their favored ships, going to some native star, from which Jehovah brought them forth. 4. Then changed the course of Lika's Aravagna by his commands sent through the comet Yodogactra, a new condensing world, already with the head of fire 4,000 miles broad, a very ball of melted copper, whirling like the spindle of a filling spool, forever winding unto itself the wide extending nebulae. Here we're coursing along hundreds of thousands of school ships with students and visitors to view the scenes, most grand and rolling on, now round, now broken, now outstretched this ball of liquid fire, whirling in the vortex, 30 million miles long, to balance against which vortex many of the ships tossed and rolled dangerously, had they not been in skilled hands, and as they were, causing millions of the students on many a ship to fear and tremble, perceiving how helpless and stupid they were compared to the very gods who had them in charge. 5. Not long did Lika loiter to view the scenes or to indulge his 800 millions, but stood his course again for the red star, the earth, coursing the Fawcett Mountains, where the god Vrilagabon built the Ecosonite kingdom, whose capital was Exastras, the place where the Neuan gods assembled to witness the first starting forth of the earth. Here halting a while, and adown went Lika's recorders to gather from the Exastras libraries the earth's early history and the grade of her creation, a copy of which obtained, the recorders hastily returned, when onward again sped the Aravagna, now making course across the plains of Zed, in the mist which lay the great sea Oblowichisi, 4 million miles long, and this also studded over the thousands of Etherian ships. 6. And now across to Rikas, the place of the goddess Anifactus, with her 7,000 million Etherian souls, whereupon Lika and his hosts cast down millions of wreaths and tokens. And the while, the music of the two spears mingled together in Jehovah's praise. Here across, the distance was 3,000,000 miles. 7. Now, all the while before, the red star stood upward, inclining upward, but here in horizontal line began to stand, gleaming in more effulgent flame. And in the course where Lika's Aravagna should go, the goddess Anifactus had previously upraised 100,000 pillars of fire to honor him and his company, which great respect Lika and his host answered with holy salutations. 8. After this came the Diane forest of Hogobed, 3,000,000 miles across, and close for lack of Etherian air and inspiration. Here stood the province of Arathactian, where dwelt the god Usin, with 30,000 million newly raised brides and bridegrooms from the star Kagados. Over these regions, Lika sped swiftly, and then to the open sea, Amadapan, on the Vashwin roads. 9. Then a sail of 2,000,000 miles in the uninhabited regions of Sama, where when he reached Chinvat, the bridge of the boundary of the Earth's vortex beyond the orbit of the moon. 10. And halting not, but now coursing on a downward plane, made straight toward the swift rolling Earth, whose speed was 750,000 miles a day. Through the high floating plateaus of Atmospheria came Lika with his fire ship, with his hosts, 800 millions, came his ship like a meteor, huge as a continent.